You're happy with your life?
Well, I don't know whether I'm happy if I know I'm on purpose.
Yeah, my friend wanted to show me something in her workshop studio.
Oh.
Yes.
I'm just going to start cleaning up my studio and organising things. I haven't been here to do anything for a couple of weeks. And just lighting some sage incense and sage leaves around, and the most beautiful stick insect.
Oh,
look,
this is an animal.
He's an animal. He's come to bless me.
This is not a plant, but look like a stick.
He's in disguise as a stick. I thought, because I collect sticks.
Okay.
But I didn't. I thought, what's that stick doing there? Look at it. Isn't it wonderful? Jeff will be over the moon.
Oh.
That's so special.
But can we move it?
No, well, I don't want him to go away anywhere. He was just wiggling a bit there. He's probably come to catch the dead flies that have got there since, because I haven't been over here much, and it's started to get hot weather.
But if it doesn't move...
I won't till, well, he just is. Hello. In fact, if you try and move him, see, he doesn't want to be noticed that he actually is anything else than a stick, so he'll just probably stay even more still. Can you see? Look how big it is.
Wow.
That is so special. I'm very into symbols and signs and nature. I've never had a stick insect. A dragonfly comes in here.
So, but what does this symbolize for?
Well, I'll have to contemplate that. I'll have to reflect on that, and it may be about not being noticed. Being humble, being just blending in with everything, and to be able to live your purpose. This is just coming off the top of my head, very effectively by being what your true nature is, to just follow what you've been given as your true nature, not try to be like anything else, just to, come home to yourself. That relates to me, to you, what you're doing. You come home to ourselves. That's to me his teachings. It might be her. Yeah. But it's just being very still, blending in.
Just part of the nature.
But a most extraordinary part of nature, because...
And another thing too is that there might be a million of them here. We don't see them because they're stick insects.
So that's quite special that it's emerged from, being very disguised to... For me, personally, to notice. So I'll contemplate the teachings of that very much.
Very interesting. This is all your works.
Well, it's some of my work.
That's beautiful.
Well, I don't know. I've forgotten about this one. And one of my friends came the other day and she said, "Oh, where's that?" That's from 2008. And sometimes I paint or draw intuitively. I don't have a particular agenda. But this is, we were talking about going to visit our friend Boinga Bob soon. That's his. He cuts out this fretwork that is like nature, like branches and that. So that was some of his work. But this sort of figure emerged that year, so it's partly human, but it's got partly animal, like a centaur. Do you know that word centaur? The half man, half horse. Yeah. And the Buddhist monk appeared in another painting that's at Bob's place, actually. You might see it tomorrow. And that was before they came here. So sometimes I'm a metaphysical painter, I think. And I pick up things that they come through in the paintings behind the scenes. Because we have the Buddhist monks out in East Warburton, Thai Buddhists, but they weren't there then. But they came into my painting. And this figure that I picked up somewhere, well, that's our kitchen where you've been sitting. That's a drawing. That's the wood stove, but it hadn't got a fire, and that's my little granddaughter's baby Pats. That painting is back in, where is it? That painting I was doing, I got some prints done last night of things. Prints and posters. A lot of people like that painting, which is near where you're sleeping in your room, in the hallway.
I see what is this?
This one?
Behind.
Okay.
This young lady.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah. It came from an exhibition in 2008, and the exhibition was called Element of Mystery, and it was a theme was dogs, because we had a lovely little dog who died in 2010. That sort of is a bit like her. But I was interested in why people what all the dogs are doing, right? You see in that picture. It took me 9 months to do that. All the dogs that was in that exhibition. So if I want to know about something, I paint or draw about it, and then something is revealed after a long while. But that is called The Night Between the New Heaven and the New Earth. And another part of the exhibition was, you know, the name Pan, the god Pan, the nature god in the Western tradition. Well, the old god Pan was going to sleep, and this one came out. I didn't deliberately do this. They just come out, and I think it's not male and it's not female. Right? So it's like a Pacific Islander. So I think it's something to do with the formative forces, as Rudolf Steiner would call them, in the Pacific Ocean and the Earth, and all these other levels of creation. So and the dogs are present. They're not in the past. They're not in the future. They're just as they are. You know. My friends at the meditation centre, Kathleen and Ken, have bought a print of that's in one of the rooms up there. So, and that shell, it's around in the garden somewhere, I think. It's in this painting, and that one. For a long while when that was being painted, and it's opposite where the room is, you're sleeping on the wall there, it's very big. I didn't know what was on the table, and my friends would come and say, oh, what are they doing? Are they reading cards, or what are they doing? And I said, no, I don't know what they're doing, but they're not reading cards. And then not long before it was completed, I realised it was a shell. So I put that shell in there with water. Then many years later, I realised they're reading the future in the water.
Ah.
Because that's sort of an ancient tradition. You scry, you look at the future, but you look at the water. So the three women, the golden-haired women, they're like the guardians. They're present. They're trying to focus and be present, like the dogs are too. They're their companions. And it's like beautiful Warburton with like the fig tree, which is out here, and other beautiful gardens, but the mountains, the wild nature as well. Yeah. Anyway, that's what that's about. Yeah. I can tell you lots of stories.
But you have cats too.
We do have cats. I love cats.
Yeah. And the top.
We had a cat. My son, who you met this morning, He's got a cat called Lily Cat, and she's Tonkinese. She's chocolate colour and a bit like a Siamese, but all chocolate, very bossy. And that's sort of like, it's like her at the back. They're all like, and they just came out. The dogs were coming into my paintings, and then the cat came. My little dog had died, and the cat started coming in. So,
what is this one?
that's what I'm working on. I think it's to do with this rainbow land, with the land at Foster. This is my friend's. That's a poster, which that's the title, The Light Ahead, but it's leading away from her house on top of a mountain. So all those colours have come in, but that's like a nature diva, I think. Again, I didn't decide it. I didn't decide it. I just sort of have like, I just start. I begin something, and then I try to stay present and be true to what's happening, and I just work away. I just work away with colour. And there's the praying figure. That's the spirit of gratitude. That's that one. That's been sold. Some other people bought that. And I don't know, I can't tell you everything it's about, but that's like a bit like that monk too. I love flowers. And these flowers, there's a tree, I noticed, coming up here with all flowers. So it's growing in from below, but it's also going into a container. And that's what this one, I don't know what these are about until sometimes, usually years after I've done them. But when I do them, I feel satisfied, something within me is, it's sort of, it's on purpose. It's like the stick insect. It's doing what it's supposed to do. And that is just good for the health, good for the mind, good for everything. Well, I'll show you this. And that's her picture.
Yes.
So one day I just had that canvas and I thought, I'll use Frida Kahlo's face, and because I love her. I admire her so much. She had a very difficult physically, she had all these physical injuries, but her spirit was amazing. I've got her diaries, and I've lent it to my granddaughter. It's in Spanish and in English. So I started with that, and then it took off into what that is. Now, later on, first I thought the owl sort of a figure here, I thought that was a pussycat. And I thought, no, it's not a pussycat. It's like I can't make something, I could, but I know I'm not being true to what wants to happen. So I thought, that's interesting. It's an owl sort of figure. Over here is a jar with some flowers going up all around her head. And I've got a lot of like Irish background, and in the mythology and stories of Ireland and Wales, England, Ireland, Wales, there's a character called, it's spelt Blodenwed, Blodenwed, but it's probably pronounced differently. And she's called the woman made of flowers. And her teaching, different from the stick insect, is to come out of your conditioning where you are trying to be what other people want you to be, and you're discovering your true nature, but usually a lot of people don't like it, the world doesn't like it, and you get punished sometimes. So she was punished by being turned into an owl, and the owl then has a much deeper nature, and in a way quieter is in the night. So, and the container, I've done a lot of paintings of flowers in containers, and it's sort of like me and my true nature, kept it contained, and I'm like you, I'm at a part of my life where I'm seeing that is being set free, so not in the container anymore. Yeah, that's what it means. And that one up there, it's a bit unusual. That's connected with a vision that I had up to do with
something in the heart,
well,
something
see,
inside.
That's the flower of life. That's that interface I was talking about between the unmanifest world and the manifest world. And the vision was this sort of shape anyway. It was a vision, and it was a great power, a vision that came to me that showed me great power and power of nature, and I would be very anxious or distraught about how people don't respect nature and, you know, what's done to our forests and all that sort of thing, you know. And this vision, a being, and I don't have visions every 5 minutes. This was something very, very unusual. It'd be about 28 years ago. And what I got from the vision, it spoke without words, was there's no need for me to worry, because the powers behind nature have all the time in the universe. My little perception of, you know, what I would get anxious about. So that's, anyway, that was many, but I did that in, I don't know, 2013. Yeah, 2013, that was in an exhibition, and Jeff just started to make bowls again after many years, and that was one of his blue bowls. Again, I didn't put it there, it just occurred to me, there's something there, what is it? And I just started to paint, and
It came out like that, yeah.
And that is on YouTube, and it's called Out of the Blue Exhibition at Warburton 2013. And you'll see many, some of my work, some of Jeff's work, some of other people's work. Yeah, some of other people's work. And that's when I look out the kitchen window or come out of that passage in the morning. Trees have grown up a bit now, but other trees. But that mountain is called Mount Victoria. And so I've done just a lot of quick paintings and drawings of whatever that day is, what's happening. That's some other ones of just looking out that window. It's like the same mountain, but different, different sort of expressions. And that was another part of it. I had quite a few of those. Anyway, and there's some books. I've got lots of books. Too many books with drawings in.
What name do you use for your art? How people call you?
Sunny.
Sunny. Same.
Sunny.
Sunny is S-U.
S-U-N-N-I. Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, one of my friends, he doesn't even like signing his paintings. But it's my name is Sunny. But sometimes I've just had the artist Sunny. That's But Sunny Riona. But no, they're not. Started with some structures, and then it occurred to me it's like a forest, and I'm very aware that a lot of suffering in my family, but in all families and in the world, is because our ancestors have been involved in injustices, imbalance, and I feel like by being aware of that, I can clear the DNA, the family, the effects of that. Some people call it karma, and somewhere here.
Karma is like an Asian.
Yeah, well, it's just the effects of the past. Just will get rebalanced. Whatever you do, there's consequences, but it may be consequences. Traditional people, or say American Indians, and that 7 generations. Whatever you're doing, be careful. Because it's affecting people. 7 generations, and so this I just thought, oh, it's the family tree. So I'm going to paint, you know, this in a way has been a lot of my life work, undoing consequences that still my children and grandchildren suffer, I believe, just in my little bit. And this, it's a goose. It's not quite finished yet. This goose, it's a goose bird, appeared. Some other birds appeared. And in the symbols, the meaning of the symbol of the goose is about the breath. It's about being able to be fully embodied, to breathe fully, not to hold back your breath. And the goose seems to be, there's this, all this, I had a bronchitis for a few months, which is very unusual this year. And I thought, oh, this is like the bronchial tubes, or these sort of shapes, and it's like old dead wood, and I just feel, yeah, I feel sort of quite like I'm getting somewhere, because the painting's showing me that the goose, it's called the breath goose in the symbol book, it's flying free, it's out of the entanglement. So there's something about the, I don't know, the family being able to become free of these things. So that's actually, there's a lot of layers, but I don't think about that when I'm doing it. I love colour, I love paint, and I just have to keep on working at it, you know. But, and I've got to be careful not to mess it up, not to, because sometimes I do that and I'll cover it all up and won't be there anymore. And I go, oh, more work. It's a lot of work.
Yes, yes.
A lot of time and energy and work, but that's enough. I don't have a lot of possessions. I don't own anything particularly. I've got a mate on guitar which I quite like, you know, a banjo. But this is one of my, you know, people worry about bushfires and losing everything. So I'm not attached, but it's got meaning to me, that. And that was made by a friend in spirit now, Lou Gibson, who was a union organiser. He was involved in social justice in his life. He made that for another friend, Harold, who's also in spirit now. But Harold decided he wasn't going to paint anymore, and Harold gave that to me, so I've been using that. It's a very nice light easel. Very nice and light. I had other more, you know, heavier, more easels that do all sorts of things, but I love this easel, so it's very precious to me. And about, in the last 2 years, what's here, these map drawers, do you know how I came by them? Well, about 28 years ago, I had a caravan, when I had that vision in that time, and by the river in Warburton, and a big annex, like a big room attached to it. And Thomas, who we've got his phone number, he came across 2 sets of these from the nearby Millgrove Primary School. They're called map drawers, and he sold them to me for hardly anything at all. And then 2 years ago, I didn't have any room for them. They're quite big and complicated, and they come apart. You can take them apart to get through doorways. Anyway, my friend she's got a shop down the street called Earth Bazaar, where you went up to the information centre. It's down the bottom. It's got prayer flags and Nepalese clothes and that sort of thing. She had that shop in another area, and she let her friends store a lot of things there, but she gave me a space to paint at one stage. But because I got sick, I didn't sort of use it a lot, but I stored these, so I didn't have anywhere to put them. So about in the last 2 years, she moved to a new shop, so it was after about 12 years, I think. I didn't have these. And then another friend, Tom, who's the professor, violin playing professor of violin, he helped me move them here. And got them with Jim through the door. So they're just, yeah, they're wonderful. They're wonderful.
You're happy with your life?
Well, I don't know whether I'm happy if I know I'm on purpose. Yeah, if I'm got a bit of clarity. But if I'm not happy, I have many useful things that I've learned about to investigate what's happening with me, what the truth, you know, and then move from that. But I think unhappiness is if you can notice it, is very useful. It's useful to notice what your state is. So I'm happy, yeah, I'm happy with that.
So generally speaking, you're happy. So what is the purpose of life then? You find out?
Is to discover my true nature and the true nature of reality as much as I can in human form. Yeah, that's true nature, not made up stuff, not false stuff. But it's a big thing. But that really is basically, I think I told you when I was 18 or 17, I want to know how to die consciously. And then a bit later in my 40s, I thought, I need to know how to live consciously. So that's what I do, really. But I have fun and enjoy colour and enjoy,
enjoy the experience.
There's a lot of reason I could be not happy, but because of all this family stuff, there's been a lot of stress. And sometimes I feel like I'm the only one even a little bit awake, you know. So, yeah, my suffering has been over other people's suffering. I don't want them to suffer. But, but I've learned that if I discover the source of my suffering, then that's all I need to do. I need to work with that, yeah. I don't have any business interfering with other people's processes.
So you think Warburton suits you well, this place?
Well, I didn't decide to come here, but I've had lots of adventures since then. I always have enough to eat. I always have a roof over my head in a beautiful place. I have nice friends. I have a lot of richness. You know, that sort of richness.
Yes, I understand, yes.
So
spiritually.
that was, but it's like, it's not just even, well, if the spirit is the foundation of everything, it's reality. That is the reality. Because what you think you need can go, if it's material or even status, you know, job or, you know, all that sort of thing, that can go just like that, but what are you left with? That's sort of, you know, I'm very lucky I've learned that. So, yeah, I'm not concerned, but my main concern is the suffering of other people. I want to maybe help make it their load lighter, but I've learned that if I do work just myself, that changes the field, the energetic field of my family and the world. So, yeah, anyway.
Through your art?
I've just always drawn and painted since I was little. That's just sort of what I do. I don't do it sometimes for a long while, but that's just, it's so not what I am. It's just something that is mine to do. To me, you know, there's a big world out there with wonderful art, and I've trained formally and informally, but I don't expect it to mean anything other than, you know, who comes in contact, and I think, you know, if someone buys a some work, I'm just so happy that person feels uplifted and they want to live with that in their house. It's like, so it's like I've done my job to, you know, to bring out
to create something.
Out of the unmanifest. I manifest it into reality because it's there somewhere.
Okay, thanks for showing me.
That's all right.
The workshop. Appreciate it
a little bit
very much.
But as you can see, to get my head straight, I've just got to. It won't take that long. I've just got to get a bit of clarity, and then I can start again. I don't like working in a mess.
Okay, good. Okay, thanks.
That's all right.
Yeah.